So, as you may or may not have heard, this past week we had the first US presidential debate for the 2024 elections between Joseph R. Biden of the Democrats Party and Donald Trump of the Republicans Party, with an S at the end for no reason. So, they had a debate, and let's just say that it was a disappointment in every way, shape, or form. For one, because Donald Trump didn't really seem like Donald Trump. He obeyed what the moderator said. He didn't scream and yell. He didn't really interrupt his opponent. He didn't insult him nearly enough. And for two, Joe Biden seemed like he was on another fucking planet, or at least on the verge of death. Like, there's no way this guy's going to survive another 4 years in office. So, I think the best summary of the debate is the one clip that I think everyone has been talking about. The context here is that Trump said that Biden has like the worst national debt ever, which I'm pretty sure isn't actually true. Trump, throughout this debate, just lied and made shit up the entire time. And Biden isn't like mentally there enough to be able to respond to any of the shit that Trump made up properly. So it was a clusterfuck. He was just completely unable to respond to a guy who was clearly and plainly just lying about every single fucking thing he said. Like, Trump in this debate was just so wildly inventing bullshit that he would have lost the debate to fucking Vosh. Anyway, so this was, I think, the defining moment of the debate.
President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two,
But the weird thing is, Biden responds to every single question with the same structure. Number one, number two, number three, number four. He sounds like a chatbot or something.
A $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do,
Okay, $500 billion is nowhere near enough to wipe out the debt, which I believe was like the Trump generated, which I believe was $8 trillion, so I'm not sure about that one.
Care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible.
Okay, so the answer wasn't bad. The answer wasn't that bad up until about five or 6 seconds ago. Then it just fucking breaks down. His brain just stops working. He looks like he's falling asleep. There's that, and the fact that the way he's speaking, it really sounds like he should not be on a fucking stage talking at all. He should be in the elderly home being cared for. Hopefully not by a woman, because I'm sure he'd sexually harass her.
For what I've been able to do with the...
he just completely forgot what was going on here.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with... Look, if we finally beat Medicare...
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because...
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What in the holy fuck was that? And Trump had the perfect line in response. He's right. We finally did beat Medicare. I want to, we're all shitting on Biden rightfully. Biden, fucking idiot. But Trump, I feel, is comically out of form here as well. He's nothing like he was back in 2016. It might be due to age. I don't know what it is. He might not really sincerely want to run anymore. But all that he did this entire debate was he was asked like a specific question or asked to respond on something specific. And he just brought it back to immigrants. Every single time he brought it back to how much he hates immigrants. Like right here.
All of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man...
Every single fucking time Trump spoke, he somehow brought the question back to immigrants. A lot of the time, Trump was asked a specific question about something nothing to do with immigrants, like about specific economic figures or something, and he just starts talking about fucking immigrants at the border. Trump used to be able to come up with much more creative responses to like specific questions, but in this point, like it's like he went in there and he was told by his handler to just only talk about immigrants, and that's all he fucking did. Let me see if I can find an example from the end of the debate where that happened.
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies...
So let's see here if Trump actually gives a direct response to what the question is here.
Last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border.
You see how he somehow brings up immigrants. How the fuck do you get from President Trump, you were convicted of 34 different felonies? Do you have anything to say about that? To, what about the border? How the fuck do you possibly get there? Every single question was the same. Always the same. Never answer the question and just somehow bring it to like talking about immigrants.
Telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you
what the fuck was Biden talking about? But what the fuck is Trump talking about?
$1 billion unless you change.
He's just like stringing through like a list that he has in his head of like dozens of different grievances and just going over them like ad nauseum the entire debate.
Your prosecutor having to do with his son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir.
There was another moment where Trump responded to Biden. He's like, I don't even know if he knows what he said.
I've changed the law. What's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation.
So wait, let's watch this question in full. Whenever like Biden was asked about immigration, instead of like defending immigrants and immigration, he was like, no, you're wrong. We're extremely hard on immigration. We actually hate immigrants just as much as you. At least as much as he possibly could, because he wasn't actually coherent enough to really put it that clearly.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns.
Wow, what is this like? Is Adolf Hitler moderating this debate? You're going to Sieg Heil after you ask this question? Salute yourself?
Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation.
I'm endorsed by Border Patrol. I don't think that's a good thing.
Where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure they were.
You do that as well.
The families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
He's right. He's right. You got to give him credit for that one. He's right. I don't think he knows what he said either. And he could have said that to like about half of Biden's responses here. Like he starts off sounding like he's trying to make a point, sounding like he has something substantial to say. And then by the end, it's like he just forgets where he is. Seriously, he just forgets where he is. He's too old for this. If I was the debate moderator, I would ask a question. President Trump, you stand beside another rapist, Joe Biden. What is it like to be a rapist? That would be my question. Let's go down the list of these two candidates, okay? Rapist, tick for both. Pedophile, tick for both. War criminal, tick for both. Old, tick for both. Funny. Trump's not really funny anymore, to be honest. Trump has lost his marbles almost as much as Biden has. X for both. Felonies. Biden should have numerous felonies. I mean, Biden has been on camera, like, basically molesting children. Trump was an Epstein associate. They're basically the same person on that one. So real felonies. Tick for both. I don't know. I don't see much of a difference here, honestly. I'm just going to vote for Jill Stein so that she can donate like billions and billions of dollars to the Ayatollah of Iran. That's my opinion on the debate. That's my opinion on who you should vote for. Vote for like the like crackpot third party that is for some reason against nuclear energy and that like supports a bunch of weird shit all around the world for no really discernible reason. Specifically, just seems to pick what they believe at random. So I'm not going to watch the whole debate, okay? It was a shit show. It was not good at all. There was nothing to be gained there. Trump wasn't funny. Trump didn't interrupt. Trump wasn't really aggressive. All he did was be like, actually, you're wrong. That thing that really did happen never happened. What about those damn Mexicans at the border? That was what Trump said the entire fucking time. Nothing else. And Biden was like, no, this man is lying. Number one, specific number that he had memorized. Number two, I need my party. That's the debate. Summarized. The world is fucked. This is like one of the most crucial moments in the history of like modern human civilization, where world leaders have to band together to carry out unprecedented state-led infrastructure projects to force a transition to renewable energy all around the world and, you know, act in each other's mutual interests, do a lot to help each other just for the sake of avoiding the catastrophic consequences of climate change. But what we have in the world's most powerful nation is Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So we're totally fucked. That's all I have to say about this.